Hello everyone, and welcome to November's studio vlog. This recording or this video is going to be all about what I've been up to for the last month in the studio. And the last month really flew by because I had family visiting. And despite having family visiting, I still had to keep doing what I'm doing. So I was really busy. And I think maybe my work reflects a little bit of my divided focus because I don't feel like I have as much to show you, but maybe I do. I don't know. Let's just get into it, and we'll talk first about this little Chickadee. This is the test painting that I did for the Chickadee, which is the November Patreon project. It's already uploaded. If you want to watch it, go over to my patreon.com/Susie Pogue, SUSIE Susie Pogue, and you can sign up for as little as $4 a month. I highly encourage you to go over there and check that out. The lessons are loaded with information about how I did this. But I decided actually in the lesson to split it out. So the background I taught first, and I used that to create a Christmas card effect. I showed you on Canva how to do that. And that was the first fundamentals lesson, and then the second was just the bird. So I kind of broke it out into two portions. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about the background because I have an unboxing video for you and I'm super excited to show you. So if you know me, you know that I love handmade watercolor paint. And one of the suppliers that I really enjoy handmade maker and miller is Stoneworks Mill. I have a lot of their paints, but I actually haven't been able to purchase anything for a while because they've been closed. They moved and took a little while to open up their business. So this is the first time that I've been able to stock Stoneworks Mill. And I thought I would share this unboxing with you. Handmade paint is generally made with love in a themed set. And ooh, so pretty. This is part of the reason why it's enjoyable to buy from other makers, because they put their passion into it, clearly, into every aspect of the experience. So let's go for the card first. Caring for your paints. And it comes with some paint. That's a little paint pan, a magnet, which I love. And a lot of the things that I have are magnetic, so that is very cool. Moon Glory sample, so that's probably what that paint is. And then a note. It says thank you for choosing Stoneworks Mill. Oop. And now we're going to open the fun part. I love how it's almost like birch bark. Very cool. This is basically a present to myself. Do I need more paint? No, I do not. Did I buy more paint? Yes, I did. Will I buy more paint in the future? Yes, I will. And that's because this is like my profession. This is what I do. This is my passion. And seeing how other people also enjoy this passion and the time and energy that they put into each and every pan, that is why I buy from Handmade Makers. So this is their oak wood, and it's even stamped. That's a new feature. It's stamped with mortar and pestle. I love this paper even, it's so tactile. I wonder what it's made out of. And it's even comes in a tin that obviously I love using tins, so that's perfect. And here is the set. Da, 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 da. So I can move these around a little bit and I'll be able to fit them all in. I'm really excited. This particular set, hang on, let me tell you what the whole collection is called Within These Woods. I know that it's extremely sentimental to them and where they moved to, and you know, land that their family has lived on. And so like if you wanted to dive deep, I'm sure there's a story behind each one of these. And the next step for me, which I will share with you, is to swatch all of these out and see what all these beautiful colors are and how I can then use them, which is the fun part. So I'll share that with you as well. You can see I've laid them out as a rainbow, and oh my gosh, they're just so beautiful. It's a really interesting mixture of paints, and this is not like a beginner palette. I'm gonna go out and say that, only because it doesn't have your traditional sort of CMYK, you know, two versions of red, like a split primary, you know, it doesn't have that specifically, but this is a really fun palette to use. And I would say if you could let go of trying to reproduce a specific color and just enjoy the colors that are here, you can get so much out of this. And you know, probably more leans heavily towards landscapes, but in any case, this is what I used it for, was the background. So I've used this paint. I'm so sorry, I do not know the names of the paints, but I'm going to call it a kind of cobalt teal, like a turquoise. It's semi-opaque, so I used that to represent the cool frosty sky. And then there's a more stormy color, which is right next to it, and it's very hard to kind of nail down the effect that you're going to get with this paint because it granulates so heavily, and it's created using complementary colors to create a gray. So it's really fun to use, and it gave this atmospheric winter feel to the background completely effortlessly. Like I didn't make barely any brush strokes. This is a wet and wet process, and you just sort of tap in the color and let it do its thing. So I showed you really well how I do that process over in the November Fundamentals lesson, and I did use these paints. It's fun, and I really enjoyed showing you how to do that. So take a look at that lesson. The other thing that I got up to was painting birds that are black. Not blackbirds, but birds that are black. And I think that this is just a personal challenge of mine. I want to include in my artwork things that are meaningful. So not just, you know, what I see out my window, but actually imbuing meaning onto the physical representational thing that I'm painting. So this is Bash, and she is a black vulture. She is an education ambassador, and the reason why I actually approached them, not the other way around. The reason why I chose to start is, first of all, she's beautiful. I know that like saying a vulture is beautiful is not maybe a typical thing to say, but this is a beautiful girl. She is able to help you to step back from your preconceived notion that vultures are like a bad bird you know, an ill omen, a bringer of doom and death, associated with death, and instead look at what a valuable part of the ecosystem the scavengers are. If we didn't have some of these birds around that do that sort of scavenging, it would completely impact the ecosystem in the same way that if we didn't have fungus to help break down dead matter. It's a really critical part in that chain. Also, how beautiful they are as a part of this system that we live in. And I definitely highly encourage you to look into the different raptor rescues that are in your area, because these birds are misunderstood, and I think that it's the people that are doing the work to help educate as well as to care for these birds. It's a wonderful cause. So I'm going to step off my soapbox for a bit and instead just talk about the actual process of painting this. And I'm going to show you as well the other bird that I painted using a similar process. So let me just reorganize here all my things. So many things. So this is an American crow, and I, you know, from a technical standpoint, what I have done on this side is to create a black that I mixed myself using complementary colors in a similar way to the way that I was discussing about the background for the Chickadee, and it gave me a warmer black, a more nuanced black. In areas it's quite flat. And I've also introduced Carbazole Violet and Prussian Blue in order to give that glossy light shining off those rich black feather look. And in this one, I chose to just use a premixed Payne's Gray and then the same color, the Prussian Blue and the Carbazole Violet. And I think that the effect is really different. So I'm not sure which one I prefer more, whether I like this premixed, warmer, rich one or the cool, kind of moody galaxy look effect that I got with this version. I think they're both really fun and I really enjoy doing them, and I highly encourage you to try this technique to pop out those black areas which otherwise can just become like a visual void. And I use the exact same technique to do the head of this Chickadee for the November painting project. So you can see how my personal art does seep into what I share with you. I take this research that I've been doing and I use it to inform myself to share those techniques with you. I think that's a little interesting glimpse into the way that I progress and the way that I come up with my ideas in the background. I wanted to share as well is I've been working on making paint, and I'm not very good at it yet. That is what I found out. So here's my first few different colors of paint that I made. So this is the Winter Storm color. This is the violet color, this is the green color, and this is the orange color. And this was a paint that I had mixed previously and actually asked you guys to name, and I think the name that came out was Rainbow Poop, which is perfect for this color. And this is actually just straight Payne's Gray. Here's just a look at the paints that I've been using over the last little bit and playing with them. This is the type of work that I do when I'm just trying to explore the paint and see what kind of things it can do. So this is the unicorn poop mixed with Winter Storm. This is the other thing that I get, and it's kind of exciting every time I see this black envelope come. This is from Otto. Boop. And I have spoken about her before. She is a wonderful, oh my gosh, what do I say about Otto? I really enjoy the way that she delivers her information and is very methodical about how she interacts with watercolors. And the entire channel is just a goldmine of information if you are super into watercolors, which obviously I am. And you can sign up for her Patreon. And part of her Patreon, there's different levels that you can do. So I get the dot card with the mini painting each month. That's the level that I chose to be at. And so right now she's swatching out core. So I do have a little bit of core paint, and I have used it before in some of my lessons, etc. So she is going to swatch the entire selection of core. So if you're looking to add to your collection and you really need more information to go by than just looking at the tube, which honestly, even the colors on the tube aren't accurate most of the time. So I think that she's created a library of information about watercolor that is totally invaluable, and I highly recommend you go and check her channel out on YouTube and on Patreon. So I'm going to swatch these colors, and I guess I could do that for you live. Why not? Well, not live, but you know, I guess I could paint those for you live to me. And I also got her painting this month, which is beautiful. Let me just see what she has to say about it. Holbein Autumn Colors. Holbein is a brand that is not as common in the United States. I know that St. Louis Art Supply does stock Holbein, and they're wonderful, wonderful paints. My mom has given me a couple, and so Holbein is recommended. I think it's highly recommended as well by Otto, and she knows what she's talking about. I think this is a beautiful painting, and I'm really excited to have it as part of my collection. So I just wanted to have a flat edged paintbrush, whether it's an angled brush or this one is just a flat brush. This is a 1/2 inch flat brush from Princeton Aqua Elite. I'm using some old water. It's not perfectly clean water, but it is mostly clean water. That's how I roll. Of colors. Normally when I get colors from her, they're in the same family, so it will be, for example, every single Pyrrole red from all the different brands. So she'll show you Holbein, Core, Daniel Smith, Winsor and Newton, you know, Mission Gold. There's a bunch of different brands, so you can compare and see of the different brands which color you like. And this is more interesting because, well, it's not more interesting. It is interesting to me because of the different selections that she has made. I think that if I look at her card, she says, this month's dot card is a selection of worn colors that I feel are particularly good from their range. And she would know because she's tested out these particular colors and can compare them within the range itself of core colors and also within the range of different brands that you can get. I think this was very fun, and this is the type of thing that I find relaxing to do, is just fill up an entire page with color like this. This is the Watercolor 2022 calendar, and I had a lot of fun putting this together. All of the artwork is from my Rooted collection, which is the series of artwork that I did for the pandemic, essentially, during the pandemic. The artwork here is mostly landscapes. Some of them are more abstract than others. But let me just show you the artwork. February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Sorry, there's dog sneezes in the background. October, November, December, and you even get January thrown in. And so I also added in eclipse dates, so this is kind of exciting. April 30th, and some of the astrological, well, all the astrological signs. So that is the only information that's on here. You can put your own on the bottom if that's what you want to do. And I'm just really excited to have this out in the world. It's a pretty limited edition, but I do intend to do them every year. So if you missed this year's, you can look forward to next year's. If you're part of my Patreon membership, and I really hope that you are, because I am really packing in the value there in terms of the lesson content, and I am working very hard behind the scenes. So I've got 12 months of lessons around the fundamentals laid out, and we're going to talk about, we're coming up talking about water control, which is like the most basic of basics that you really want to understand and feel confident in. So water control, and also looking at different types of papers and the effects that you can get. The project is going to be about skies. So we're going to do really beautiful winter skies. I think when the leaves fall off the trees and all of a sudden you can see, I mean, I live in a forest, so this applies to me, but you can see more of the sky because there's less leaves. It's just, some days I walk out there and it's so beautiful I want to cry. So let's paint beautiful skies together, and I really look forward to sharing with you some of my techniques that I use to create clouds and different atmospheric effects in the skies. That's what we've got coming up in December, and I've got even more fun stuff planned for next year. I am also going to be posting some more studio vlogs next year. I'm going to keep that up. I think I'm going to do them every month. And I'm also going to be, oh my gosh, a woodpecker just swooped over the house and flew right in front of me as I'm looking out this window and landed on the white oak tree that is outside my window and is pecking away in front of me. Honestly, like, it's so hard to focus and just do these recordings because I get pulled away by like the smallest of things. All right, everybody, you have a great day, and we will talk later.